Hey, stop doing shit to my car.
Get your hands in the air.
Oh, fuck me.
Walking away this time.
We lost 2 assets attempting to neutralize Wiseman, designate Howe.
Mike Howell, looking worse for wear, is strapped to a chair in a CIA interrogation room. An agent ponders where to begin. Flashback to 3 days earlier in West Virginia, where Mike was just a regular guy living a laid-back life with his girlfriend, Phoebe.
Not even remember my life.
Phoebe. He had big plans. He'd even bought an engagement ring and arranged the perfect getaway to pop the question. But things didn't go as planned. As soon as they got to the airport, Mike's severe anxiety kicked in, making him physically sick and causing them to miss their flight.
Now boarding all rows and all...
On the drive back, he kept apologizing, blaming himself for ruining everything.
It's not, we're going on a plane. Why would I?
Phoebe reassured him it was okay, but he couldn't shake the guilt. He couldn't understand why she put up with him. Their bad luck continued when a police car's lights flashed behind them.
One of your little episodes there, Mike?
Mike tensed up since he was carrying weed. The cop, Sheriff Watts, was someone Mike knew all too well. He had a habit of picking on him.
Sheriff Watts.
When Phoebe asked why they were being stopped, Watts didn't bother giving a real answer, instead making a snide comment about her attitude and hinting that she might end up spending the night in jail. After some more pointless harassment, he finally let them go. Back home, Phoebe seemed down about the ruined trip. Wanting to cheer her up, Mike put on her favorite song and pulled out the engagement ring, hoping for a special moment. But in typical Mike fashion, he forgot he had something cooking, and Phoebe ended up burning her hand, ruining the moment yet again.
This could be the right moment.
The next morning, Mike trudged through the rain to his job at a convenience store. After restocking shelves and cleaning up, he passed the time sketching his comic, The Adventures of Apollo, Ape, and Chip the Brick, and excitedly sharing ideas with Phoebe. Later, he stepped outside for a smoke and to update the store sign. Unbeknownst to him, a satellite had just locked onto his location, marking him as a former subject of the Ultra program.
Hello there. You're here late, Lassiter.
Over at CIA headquarters in Langley, Agent Victoria Lasser received a coded message. Mike was scheduled for elimination within 24 hours. She was ordered not to interfere, but she wasn't about to just sit back and let it happen.
I feel so betrayed.
Meanwhile, Mike and Phoebe lay on their car under the night sky, talking about his comic ideas. She encouraged him to pursue his creativity, fully invested in his dream.
When you talk about it, I think other people would love it too.
Down the road, emergency responders worked to remove a wrecked vehicle from a ditch. As they talked, Mike got emotional, convinced he was holding Phoebe back.
Really, this one tree has just been sitting in this one place.
She assured him he wasn't. That night in bed, they both apologized, him for missing the trip, her for getting upset. She told him he was the best thing that ever happened to her. Determined to do something, Lasser stormed into a meeting held by her rival, Adrian Yates. They were both in charge of different classified programs. Hers, the Wiseman program, had been shut down, while Yates' Tough Guy initiative was still running.
Yes, Victoria?
I need to speak with you.
Now, he was leading the operation to wipe Mike out, claiming that since he kept trying to leave town, protocol dictated his termination.
You the one who shut down the program?
Yeah, because it was a flaw.
Lasser objected, but Yates, now in charge, shut her down. The following morning, Mike left for work extra early to meet his buddy Rose and pick up fireworks for his proposal.
Type life-changing shit you're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Later, while at work, Lasser walked into the store and tried to trigger Mike's hidden abilities using a series of coded phrases.
Cherry progressive, listen. Mandelbrot said.
At first, it didn't seem to work, and she left frustrated. But something had started shifting in Mike's mind. That night, while making noodles, Mike noticed 2 shady guys tampering with his car in the parking lot.
Shit to my car.
He confronted them, but when one pulled a knife, something clicked in his brain. In a sudden burst of deadly skill, he took them both out, one with nothing but a spoon. Panicked, he called Phoebe, barely able to process what had just happened.
Guns and knives, and they were being like total dicks, and they just attacked.
She rushed over, completely baffled by the situation. Before they could figure out their next move, Sheriff Watts showed up. Meanwhile, Yates, now aware that Mike had killed 2 of his operatives, suspected Lasser had activated him and ordered a full lockdown of the town.
Who's armed with a spoon, sir?
Mike and Phoebe were arrested and brought to the station, giving Yates the perfect opportunity to eliminate them. He sent in his top enforcers, Crane and Laffer, to storm the building.
I hit him with the spoon.
Inside, Mike, still in shock, told Phoebe about Lasser and the strange word she had used. Suddenly, he could recall every moment of the last hour and a half with perfect clarity.
How many times you been in this station, Mike?
While Watts was interrogating them, the power cut out. Crane and Laffer had arrived. Gunfire erupted. Watts and his deputies scrambled for cover while Mike and Phoebe were taken to a holding cell. Laffer opened fire, killing the deputy guarding them. Phoebe managed to disarm him but was thrown aside. Mike engaged Laffer in hand-to-hand combat, instinctively outmatching him and locking him in the cell. Meanwhile, Crane took out the remaining officers. She was about to finish off Watts when she spotted Mike and Phoebe escaping. She fired at them, but was handcuffed to a chair by Watts. In a last-ditch move, she tossed a grenade at Mike, but he flung it back inside, blowing up the station. He then took out Crane with a single, brutal strike. Realizing things were escalating, Lasser called Yates, demanding he stop. But he had already locked down the only bridge out of town under the pretense of a viral outbreak.
Why are there men in hazmat suits walking around like...
He smugly told Lasser that 2 more of his men were dead and that she was next. Phoebe wanted to flee, but Mike reminded her of his anxiety about leaving town. She was overwhelmed, but he calmed her down, suggesting they take his car and get away.
They're all dead, and
Like the guy in the thing, in the cell.
Just then, his car exploded. Crane and Laffer had rigged it beforehand. Lasser arrived at the wreckage, finding Crane's body. She contacted her old assistant, Petey, warning him about Yates' plan.
...are in town, and I'm here trying to save Asset House.
She needed an airdropped weapon and intel on Yates' recruits. Petey hesitated, but eventually agreed. Meanwhile, Mike and Phoebe took her car to Rose's place. Mike's head was spinning. He was experiencing flashes of memories, but some things weren't adding up. He started to question if he was even human, wondering if he was some kind of programmed assassin. Just then, Rose, wearing a gas mask, jumped out, paranoid about the supposed virus outbreak. Yates had arrived in town via helicopter, his heavily armed enforcers waiting like machines in a truck. Among them was Laffer, bruised but still standing, showing Yates the teeth Mike had knocked out. Back at Rose's, Mike was freed from his cuffs but sensed trouble. Rose's friends, Big Harold and Quinn's son, joined them. Mike recognized Quinn's son from a fantasy football league. Rose was convinced the outbreak was real and showed them a news report. To their horror, both Mike and Lasser were being falsely blamed as the source of the infection, with Lasser's name hilariously tied to inappropriate monkey contact. The room grew tense, and Mike panicked, demanding answers. When Rose pulled a gun, Mike swiftly disarmed him but gave the weapon back, apologizing. Rose locked Mike and Phoebe in his basement, which, strangely enough, was a disco club. Meanwhile, Lasser received her airdropped supplies and intel. The files confirmed her worst fears. Yates was recruiting violent psychopaths for his program. At that moment, Yates called Petey, threatening him for assisting Lasser and reminding him of the grim consequences of betraying the agency. Petey gets a harsh warning to stay out of things, and the call ends. Right after, Lacey reaches out to Petey, desperate to expose the truth, but he's too scared and refuses to get involved any further. Meanwhile, Phoebe figures out a way to escape through the ceiling, but Mike isn't on board. He's hoping to use this moment to finally pop the question. Yates tracks down Mike's location and sends in his men, Newton, Bourbon, and Laffer, with orders to use gas. The assassins attack Rose's house, filling it with gas. In the chaos, Rose, Quinn's son, and Big Harold are gunned down. One of the killers goes after Mike, but Mike fights back, smashing the guy's face in. Phoebe grabs a gas mask, helps Mike escape, and finishes off the assassin in the process. However, is in bad shape. The gas is messing him up, and he's slipping in and out of consciousness. Phoebe frantically keeps him awake, showing an unexpected understanding of the gas's effects. She injects him with an antidote and does everything she can to stop him from passing out, because if he does, he's done for. As he drifts, flashes of memories with Phoebe surface, memories he doesn't recognize. When he comes to, he demands answers. Phoebe, clearly panicked, reluctantly confesses she's not just his girlfriend. She's actually a CIA handler and has been assigned to him for the past 5 years. Mike is floored. Refusing to believe her, he bolts to the car. She runs after him, desperate to explain, but Mike is done listening. He feels like their entire relationship was a lie. Before they can go any further, another car rams into them, flipping theirs over. Laffer yanks Phoebe out, gripping her throat as he tells her he has orders to take her in alive. With that, he knocks her out cold. Then, turning to Mike, he issues a chilling warning before dragging Phoebe away. He douses the wrecked car in gasoline and sets it on fire with Mike still trapped inside. Just as it seems like it's all over, Lacey appears out of nowhere. While Laffer is busy waking up Phoebe, they both watch as the car erupts into flames. Laffer takes Phoebe to Yates, questioning his authority to run this operation. Yates coldly reminds her that she's been out of the game for 5 years. He rubs it in that she threw away her entire career for a fake boyfriend, and now that Mike is dead, she's under arrest while he looks forward to a promotion. But Mike isn't dead. Lacey saved him. When she asks if he knows who she is, Mike guesses she might be his mom. She laughs that off and explains the truth. When Mike was 18, he got arrested for drugs. That's when she approached him and recruited him for a top-secret CIA experiment. Out of all the recruits, Mike was the only one who succeeded. But the program started messing with his mind, so she shut it down, erased his memories, and gave him a new life. Mike is reeling, realizing his entire reality was manipulated. Lacey clarifies that his paranoia and sluggish thinking weren't natural. They were implanted to protect him. Before he can process everything, an old man recognizes Lacey, calls her a monkey lover, and alerts the authorities. Yates is notified just as he's wiping Mike's file from existence. Furious, he orders Petey to send in a drone strike immediately. Hearing this, Phoebe makes a break for it, but is quickly recaptured. Petey reluctantly launches the drone, while Yates also sends in his muscle, Otis and the brute, Beetle, to eliminate Mike. Mike, still in denial, wants to head home and smoke, ignoring Lacey's warnings. Soon, he's getting high while she stands guard with a rifle. She tells him that Phoebe was supposed to leave after setting him up with a normal life, but she sacrificed everything to stay because she always believed in him. Before they can continue, Beetle attacks Lacey, and Mike shoves him out the window. Otis opens fire, reporting back to Yates, who immediately orders the drone strike. As Otis and Beetle close in, Lacey manages to take out Beetle. The drone is seconds from striking, but Petey hesitates, unable to go through with it. Meanwhile, Mike spots a frying pan, does some crazy mental calculations, and uses it to ricochet a shot right into Otis. Petey, now in full panic mode, realizes he's in deep trouble and calls Yates' boss, Mr. Kruger. Kruger, now aware of Yates' rogue operation, starts shutting it down, pulling all support. Yates, furious, calls Mike to offer a deal. Phoebe's life in exchange for his surrender. Mike hesitates, but when Yates puts Phoebe on the line, she apologizes, tells Mike she loves him, and urges him to run. Yates cuts her off before she can say more. Determined to save Phoebe, Mike gears up, grabbing some fireworks. He hijacks Otis's Jeep and storms into town. Yates scrambles his men, grabbing Phoebe and taking cover in a store. Mike crashes the Jeep right into the storefront, picks up a phone, and tells Phoebe he loves her, promising this will all be over soon. A gunfight breaks out. Using whatever he can find in the store, Mike takes down the goons one by one. He takes a knife to the stomach, but keeps going, getting shot in the head, though it's just a graze. Setting off fireworks as a distraction, he finishes off the last of the muscle. Only Laffer is left. Yates orders him to end Mike while he drags Phoebe away. She tries to fight back, but Yates knocks her down. Secretly, she slips a paperclip from the store into her cuffs. Laffer finds Mike, saying he just wants to talk. They end up stabbing each other before Mike dodges more gunfire. Yates, still trying to escape with Phoebe, doesn't notice her unlocking herself. She attacks him just as Lacey arrives to take him on. Meanwhile, Mike gets the upper hand on Laffer, but realizes something. Laffer isn't fully in control of his actions. Like Mike, he's been messed with. Instead of killing him, Mike lets him go. As Lacey strangles Yates, Kruger arrives and calls off the chaos. Mike, barely standing, finds Phoebe, and they stumble out of the store together. Outside, cops and agents immediately surround them. Before they can react, Mike drops to one knee and proposes. Phoebe says yes, but before they can kiss, they're both tossed. Later, in the woods, Kruger has Yates and Lacey kneeling before him. He scolds Lacey for causing so much destruction, but tells Yates he never had permission to run the operation in the first place. Yates, thinking he can talk his way out, tries to spin it, but Kruger shuts him up by shooting him dead. Lacey begs for her life, and Kruger admits he was the one who secretly tipped her off at the start, but warned her not to interfere. He tells her Mike is too dangerous to be left alive, but Lacey argues. Mike took down 17 highly trained agents alone. Instead of killing him, she suggests they use him. Fast forward 6 months. Mike, fully awakened, is now working for the CIA. He and Phoebe are in Manila on a mission. In an elevator, he gets kidnapped by a group of armed men who mock him for being unarmed. Watching through security cameras, Lacey smirks. They took the bait, she says, as Mike's eyes scan the room, calculating his next move. And just like that, the chaos begins again.